So you all are living in the house together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you sleeping with both of them while you live in the house with both of them, Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, I was.
I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Wow.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
And so wait, were you there when the guy jumped out the window?
I'm looking at him run through the field.
And it took her at least 30 minutes to open up the door.
The day he came to the house, he has a habit of losing his keys.
Miss Bryson says her ex, Mr. McCarroll, is the dad, even though she was with other guys. He denies it and wants the kid's last name changed.
Ms. Bryson, you have dragged the defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. McCarroll, into court today because although you admit to having sex with more than one man, you are here with proof that Mr. McCarroll is the father of your 18-month-old son, Zylan McCarroll.
Miss Bryson says if Mr. McCarroll doesn't answer his phone, he's cheating. He says she's making stuff up, but she swears she knows his habits. The judge watches as they argue like it's a soap opera.
Every time we're together, he cheats. I wanted us to get married, and he doesn't want to do that because he wants to be a whore.
I tried to structure everything about my life to make it where we would never have to be here in this situation, where she would never have to be here and have question marks over these kids' heads.
Everywhere he goes, he meets someone.
She claims she couldn't even read a book without him freaking out. He says she's just paranoid, but she heard him talking to another woman. This fight is getting worse by the second.
I can't talk to my mother on the phone. I can't read a book without getting put out, cursed out.
I was supposed to bring his lunch in for him. I called him, he didn't answer, and I know him. Anytime he don't answer the phone, it's a woman involved. And sure enough, it was. His friend, his best friend still to this day, they cheat together. They do everything together, okay?
You can't even read a book.
Yes, no, ma'am.
She was dating someone else when she got pregnant, but Mr. McCarroll wouldn't leave her alone. She says she still loved him and believes he's the dad, but timelines don't lie, and things are about to get weird.
When I had gotten pregnant, we were separated. He was with another lady. Every time he comes over, he don't know how to keep his hands to himself. Even if I'm in a relationship, he still does it. As soon as my friend turns his back, he touching on. And I tell him, don't do that. But while I'm separated, I do love him with all my heart. Everything in me loves him. I want all my kids to be here.
So you were with another man?
Yes, I was.
She admits she cheated on guys with Mr. McCarroll because she couldn't stay away. She dumped her boyfriend when she found out she was pregnant. Her plan? Get her family back together, but it's not looking good.
In the past, I have cheated on guys with him because like I said, I love him. When I got pregnant with him, I was with someone and I broke up with him and I told the other guy why I was breaking up with him because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I wanted to have a family with him. I wanted to get married to him. Like I said, I've been with him since I was 18. I love him. Any man I ever talk to know that I love him, okay?
She brings a whole conception calendar to prove her case. He looks confused, saying he doesn't even remember the exact date. But just when the argument settles, another man walks in.
You're handing up calendar.
Based on that calendar, I could see my son on April the 28th.
In blue is the date you were intimate with Mr. McCarroll.
Yes, ma'am.
You have outlined the window of conception that you calculated.
I actually went online because when I found out that I was pregnant, I had currently went to the doctor a week before. I was trying to have a son.
Turns out she was with Mr. Perkins just 2 days before Mr. McCarroll. Mr. Perkins looks shocked, saying he had no idea she was still seeing her ex. The judge is officially done with this nonsense.
We slept together also on April the 26th. That's the day that I split up with him.
But I'm so bad, though.
Ms. Bryson, that's just 2 days before you said you slept with Mr. McCarroll.
I understand that. Yes, ma'am.
Why are you not including him as a possible father?
Well, I just don't think that he is. My son, he looked just like my daughter. And also, I have another 6-week-old by him.
The judge calls him out for acting like the good guy while being in this mess. He swears he provides for his kids, but the judge isn't buying it. Now, it's time for the real truth. DNA results.
Your Honor, when I met her, she didn't have nothing. I took her, she had never
And she still don't have nothing according to you, so what does that say about you? And she got all your babies. No, stop over-talking me. I want an answer to that. Because just a few minutes ago, you said to me, I could have prevented all. Didn't have to be another beautiful black woman out here with baby. It has been determined by this court. Mr. McCarroll, you are not the father.
This whole thing is straight up wild. Judge Lake introduces the case where Ms. Hilburn is caught in a love triangle that led to her baby, Saria. Mr. Barnes really hopes he's the dad, but things are already looking messy.
Ms. Hilburn, you admit that you've been caught up in a love triangle
Yes,
for
Your
the
Honor.
past 3 years, which you say resulted in the birth of your 10-month-old daughter, Saray. But you're here to prove she is the defendant's baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Imagine doing everything for a baby, only to find out she might not be yours. Mr. Barnes was there for ultrasounds, the birth, and even showed up at the hospital first. Then boom, he finds out he couldn't sign the birth certificate because Ms. Hilburn is still married.
It's a father-daughter relationship. I was there from start to finish. I was there for appointments, ultrasounds. I was there when she was born. I got there before I did to the hospital. I signed all the paperwork to be on the birth certificate. Well, I couldn't be because she is still legally married, so I was not able to be put on it.
Oh, she's still legally married to someone
Your Honor.
else?
Valentine's Day is supposed to be about love, not heartbreak. Mr. Barnes found out his girlfriend cheated when she went out and didn't answer her phone. The next morning, she casually rolls back in with the other guy, and people straight up told him what happened.
Before Valentine's Day, which is the first time it happened, I was at work. She said she was going to a friend. I get home, I tried texting her, tried calling her, no response. The next day, Miss Hilburn and the other gentleman, I was informed by the people who brought them that they had slept together that night.
That is not true. I told him that I'd slept
She had
with
been
the other
telling
man.
him that she was not with anybody at that point in time.
This story somehow gets even wilder. Mr. Barnes, Ms. Hilburn, and the other guy were living together while she was sleeping with both of them. The audience just about lost their minds when she admitted to pulling that off.
So you all are living in the house together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you sleeping with both of them while you live in the house with both of them, Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, I was.
I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Wow.
Just when you think this can't get worse, boom, she's pregnant again. Ms. Hilburn doesn't know if Mr. Barnes or the other guy is the father. Oh, and she's still sleeping with both of them.
5 months after this baby was born, I became pregnant again.
Oh, so you're pregnant now?
Yes, 7 months.
You're pregnant right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who this child's father is?
It could be Mr. Barnes or the other guy.
It's the same situation.
Guess we can cancel our vacation
Absolutely.
because Miss Hilburn will be returning.
Now they can't even agree on when the truth came out. Mr. Barnes says he didn't know about the other guy until 2 months after Saria was born. Ms. Hilburn swears she told him before, but honestly, who even knows at this point?
I didn't find out about the other guy until 2 months after Saray was born. We had gotten into an argument and she had let slip that I may not be the father, so
I
really want to be.
did tell him before the baby was born that there was a chance that she could not be his.
You told me 2 months after Saray was born.
Told you
That's
2
when
months before
most of the
Saray was
problems
born.
between you and I started dealing with that gorgeous girl right there.
Now it turns out Saria is being used as a bargaining chip. Mr. Barnes says Ms. Hilburn threatens to take the baby away when she doesn't get what she wants. Meanwhile, the other guy only acts like a dad when it annoys Mr. Barnes.
Somebody tried to play your baby like she's a little pawn in the game?
Yes.
She does the same thing, Your Honor. She holds her over my head. If somebody doesn't do what she wants or something happens that she disapproves of, she will threaten to take her away from me, not let me see her.
This other guy, what if he's the father?
He's not going to be a dad.
If this situation wasn't bad enough, Mr. Barnes has a girlfriend. But guess what? She lives with her ex and their kids.
So, Mr. Barnes, you got a girlfriend.
Yes, I do.
Does she know about this relationship?
She suspects, but when you don't see your girlfriend for 7 months, you don't see her, what else are you supposed to do?
You say you don't see your girlfriend for 7 months?
Yeah, she lives on the property with her baby daddy and her kids.
Well, here it is.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Barnes, you are not Saray's father.
This part was straight up movie level crazy. Wilson let Ms. Dean move in, treated her well, and then found out she was sneaking around with other men in his own house. He says he's been tricked before and refuses to get played again. Wilson just wants answers, but he's about to get a whole lot more drama instead.
Mr. Wilson, you've opened your case today to prove that Ms. Dean's 17-month-old daughter, Jakaya, is not your biological child. You say you moved her into your home, laid out the red carpet, only to find out she was rolling around with other men in your home.
Ms. Dean comes in swinging, saying Wilson is straight up lying and making things up like a kid caught eating cookies. She swears they planned the baby together, and Wilson was all in until he randomly switched up. Just when you think she's got a good case, Wilson drops a huge bomb about why he started doubting everything.
It really is. He's being not only belligerent and lying. Him and his family is lying because not only did we plan this baby, We had concessions. I had my period. Literally getting down, doing things besides just...
Oh, that's a concession.
Yeah, a concession.
Okay.
So when I say we having a concession, I mean everything over and above.
Okay.
Wilson says when he looks at the baby, all he sees is Ms. Dean's ex, and now he's questioning everything. He got even more suspicious when Ms. Dean posted a pic of the baby with another guy, and suddenly things weren't adding up. Then Wilson comes through with receipts, and it's about to get even messier.
I see the baby, but I don't see me in the baby. I see the ex in the baby. She posted a Facebook picture of the baby with him, and it looks like the baby, not mine.
Who is with him?
So you actually say, I wanted to have this baby together.
Yes.
Where did everything go wrong?
Her
if you
story
planned
was not
it,
consistent, the word she used. Yeah.
Okay.
It was not consistent as her storytelling.
Why
as
was
the
it?
truth kept coming about, the lies kept adding up to it.
Wilson says Ms. Dean was always whispering in another room like she was planning a secret mission. Then he finds out her ex was over all the time, chilling on her couch like he paid rent. Ms. Dean denies everything, but Wilson isn't letting this go anytime soon.
She's whispering, I hear echoes. She's always in a different room of the apartment. And I'm like, why you never around the kids? Why? She said, I can't talk now because my ex is here. And why is he there 11 o'clock at night if the kids got school in the morning?
With that other guy, he just don't want to take responsibility and be a man and stand up. He is lying. He came over
visited
to
30
visit.
days?
He lied. How was it 30 days when we was having concessions all that time?
Wilson says he ran into Ms. Dean's ex at the bus stop, and dude just casually said, yeah, I'm the dad. Wilson is standing there, trying to process the madness, while this guy is completely unbothered. If Wilson had doubts before, now he's got proof, but the drama is far from over.
When I ran into him at the bus stop, I said, this is coincidence. Now I can man up and ask him face to face. What's the story in his end? If it add up to what she's telling me, then I have no doubts. He's like, yeah. I said, what y'all supposed to be having? He said, a little girl. He went into details. So that fueled my doubts. When the baby was born, it was so light and bright. I was like, he's so dark, she's dark. It's no way he's the father.
Ms. Dean accuses Wilson of taking the baby and disappearing like a magician. She says he was using the baby to impress another woman, while Wilson says he just needed time to figure things out. Just when you think this can't get wilder, Wilson's sister steps in.
why would he just have the baby?
He had the baby trying to take the baby so he can be with someone else. He used me, basically.
She watched too many life.
After I had that baby, Your Honor, he proposed to me, told me that we were going to get married, moved in together, took the baby, tried to move away. Well, tried to have the baby in his care. He never took her because I gave her to him.
Wilson's sister is not here to play. She says Ms. Dean is only after money, not the truth. She claims Ms. Dean's own family doubted that Wilson was the dad. Just when things start calming down, Wilson gets real emotional about what this baby meant to him.
I asked my brother, why are you dealing with her again? She did this to you 9 years ago.
Okay.
It was a grievance and it was attachment instantly. Like, this is my baby. I think that she's attaching to him financially. It's not for looking for the father of this child. It's about what the baby can get from this man. She knew what she had done. When my brother had this baby, we were gonna take it and do what we need to do for the baby. She came to my home.
Wilson says after losing his dad, this baby gave him a reason to live again. He really thought Ms. Dean was giving him the family he always wanted, but now he's not so sure. It's time for the moment of truth, the DNA test results.
It was a chance for me to live again. It was giving me purpose because I was so attached to my father. She was willing to give me something that she kind of even regretted not giving me in the beginning of our relationship when we had history. I didn't have no doubt that we planned this, it should have been that. But somebody was not committed and consistent, and it was not me.
Judge Lake opens the envelope and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
This case was a mess from the start. Judge Lake introduces Reeves versus Silva, where Ms. Reeves claims Mr. Silva is the father of her baby, Legend. Mr. Silva confidently says, no way, but his reasoning is about to make this even crazier.
Ms. Reeves, you are here today to prove that the defendant, Mr. Silva, is the biological father of your 7-month-old son, Legend. Mr. Silva, you were involved in a paternity case on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta in support of your sister, who took a DNA test to prove paternity of her child.
This man really said men are meant to cheat. He claims it's natural for men to do whatever they want, but women can't. Judge Lake and the audience lose it, and Ms. Reeves is straight up done with him.
I just don't trust her, Your Honor. I feel like she's tricking me into believing that I'm Legend's father. I grew up loving women, loving sex.
You grew up loving sex.
And women can't go out, have sex, and come home, and especially with a baby, trying to say that I'm his father. I just want.
All of this started because all he wanted to do was cheat on me. I've been nothing but faithful to him since I first met him.
Mr. Silva swears he can't be the dad because she texted her ex. Meanwhile, he was out here acting single the whole time. Somehow, he still thinks he's the victim.
Well, we was broken up at the time, but immediately, as soon as I told him that I was pregnant, he was like, oh, okay, with who?
We were broken up for 4 weeks, Your Honor. I called her texting her ex.
Is that why you broke up?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you
I confronted her
with
about texting her ex. I caught them texting multiple times. She claims they're just friends. One day, I just decided to try to go in her phone, and she changed her password on me.
He ghosted her for the entire pregnancy, but showed up at the hospital. Even then, he only signed the birth certificate because he felt pressured. So he didn't want to claim the baby, but signed up anyway? Make it make sense.
As soon as she told me, I told her who was the father. So I did not believe I was the father, and I was not with her during her pregnancy. I was only there to be supportive during the birth. Throughout the whole time, I'm telling her I want a DNA test. In the hospital, none but her family was there. I was by myself. You know, I came in. As soon as the legend was born, the doctor came in the room, straight to me and gave me the paper. I didn't want to make her look bad, so
So you signed the birth certificate?
Yes.
Ms. Reeves pulls out receipts from a woman saying Mr. Silva told her she didn't know who the father was. He admits he lied just to be grimy. So now he's both messy and reckless.
Like, well, I have proof right here. A girl, she messaged me basically saying that, you know, they was talking. He was her boyfriend as well. He didn't know me. I'm just.
So you got a message out of the blue from another woman. And it says, he told me you were his ex and that you were pregnant, but and didn't know who the dad was.
Yes, ma'am.
He says if the baby isn't his, both Reeves and Legend can kick rocks. Ms. Reeves is emotional, saying she doesn't want her son growing up feeling unwanted. Meanwhile, Mr. Silva is praying the baby doesn't look like her ex.
I just feel a little hurt, you know what I mean? Because, like, we have a beautiful baby together. And I don't want him to grow up feeling like, oh, my daddy didn't even think that I was his. I don't want him to feel like, you know, we were just being irresponsible. I want him to love me the way that I love my parents. I want him to grow up the same way that I grew up with both of his parents in his life. You know what I mean?
Mr. Silva, you are the father.
This case is already a circus, and the show just started. Ms. Hicks wants to prove that Mr. Smith is the dad, but he says his body doesn't even make babies. Then he calls her own sister as a witness to back him up, because why not make this even messier?
Ms. Hicks, you say the sins of your past have brought you into court today to save your relationship. You are petitioning the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Honesty.
If loyalty was a test, Ms. Hicks' sister just flunked. She straight up tells the court her sister cheats all the time, and Mr. Smith is not the only possible dad. Ms. Hicks fires back with sarcasm, but Mr. Smith clings to his I can't have kids excuse like it's his last lifeline.
She's telling false lies, okay? I know for a fact that he was not the only one she was sleeping with. I guess you're there in the same bed with me when I'm sleeping with these people, I get. They was staying with me for some time, okay? From what I know, my sister's a cheater. She been like that her whole life, okay?
You hear the allegations that have been stated thus far. This is what leads you to believe you are not the biological father of Honesty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now things get weird. Mr. Smith says a weightlifting injury made him baby-proof. Ms. Hicks is like, well, explain this fully existing baby right here. He still insists he physically can't be the father, even though the baby is literally in front of him.
I used to work out a lot, and one time strained myself too hard, and I had to go to the hospital, and the doctor told me that I couldn't have kids, that my testicles had dropped by that time.
Male hypogonadism is a condition in which the body doesn't produce enough testosterone or has an impaired ability to produce sperm or both.
Mr. Smith pulled out the ultimate receipt, text messages from another guy. The messages were all, hey, when can I get some? And she allegedly said, come over when he's gone. Ms. Hicks says she doesn't even remember the texts, which is super convenient.
I went through her phone and found text messages, and it said when I can get that kitty cat.
Oh. The other guy said, I miss that kitty cat. You know he leaves, so you can come over anytime.
Yes, Your Honor.
You saw this message and you feel like she was definitely sleeping around. Did something similar to this come through your phone?
I don't even remember that text message, Your Honor.
This case turns into an action movie when Mr. Smith says a dude jumped out of a window. He swears he saw someone bolt across a field while Ms. Hicks took 30 minutes to open the door. She claps back saying, sir, we live on the 2nd floor.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like 30 minutes.
And so wait, were you there when the guy jumped out the window?
I'm looking at him run through the field.
And it took her at least 30 minutes to open up the door.
The day he came to the house, he has a habit of losing his key.
Plot twist. Mr. Smith admits he pretended to be happy about the baby. He was all smiles on the outside, but in his head he was like, nope, this ain't my kid. Ms. Hicks is confused because he was literally calling the baby beautiful and saying she looked like him.
You found out she's pregnant?
Yes.
Were you happy about it?
Faking it to her, but I know in my mind that
Faking it.
I can't have.
Oh, you were faking it to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything. I mean, at the hospital, you're there. He was like, oh, she looked just like me. She's so beautiful. Where is all this doubt coming from all of a sudden?
You know, Your Honor, because I felt sorry for her because she could have lost her life.
An actual doctor comes in to set things straight. She says hypogonadism can affect fertility, but doesn't mean zero sperm. Mr. Smith's I can't have kids excuse is now looking real shaky.
So hypogonadism is when the body doesn't produce enough testosterone. You can either be born with it or you can develop it later in life. Usually from things like infection or an injury to the testicles can also cause it. But nature gives us 2 testicles, and so usually it has to be a profound injury to not one, but both testicles to actually cause hypogonadism.
And now, the moment of truth. The results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Smith, you are the father.
This was a total mess from the start. Ms. Van Meter admits she cheated, and that's why Mr. Watkins isn't sure the kid is his. She has no idea why he's still around, and honestly, neither do we.
We are not in a relationship. We just live together at the moment. Broke up because of the simple fact that I cheated. He has just stayed and he's been there throughout everything, throughout the whole birth, throughout my son being 3 now. He's just played his dad the whole time. I don't really know why he stayed. I just know he has stayed.
This was straight up wild. Mr. Watkins catches her deleting texts, leaves to cool off, and boom, her family tells him she was in a car outside getting busy. She admits it, but says it just happened like she slipped and fell into cheating.
I saw her on the couch texting. See what she's doing. She's texting and deleting messages. And she's like, oh, I was just talking to my friend. What you deleting messages? What she was saying, and I was like, you wasn't saying that because you deleted them. I left, just cool down, because I don't like sticking around arguing about nothing. So I was coming back. One of her family picked me up and told me that they saw her outside in the car doing what she was doing with the dude.
This was just embarrassing. Ms. Van Meter confesses she had intimate violence in a car right outside the house while her family was inside. Not only did they catch her, but they totally snitched.
So you had sex in front of the house in a car, and your family was inside the house, and then they told on you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. So, Mr. Watkins, you're riding in the car.
Yeah.
How do you find out that it's the guy with the text message?
She told me who it was, who
you
the
confronted
actual
her.
person was.
I was going to tell him when he got
and then
there.
my whole thing
But
was, you said it was a friend, right?
Now things get extra suspicious. She finds out she's pregnant a week or 2 after her little car moment, but swears she used protection. Mr. Watkins isn't buying it, and honestly, neither is anyone else.
You do have this sexual encounter, and then you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long after that?
Maybe a week or 2 after the fact. I don't remember the exact date, but when I had sex with him, I did use protection.
She told me she didn't use it, and then she told me she did use it. She said she didn't remember.
Everything explodes into chaos. Judge Lake calls her out, and she finally admits she really wants Watkins to be the dad. Meanwhile, Watkins is standing there like, so we're just now admitting all this?
That ain't because I had a scare about my cancer and I had a biopsy done. At the end of the day, if something happens to me, I want my son to know who his dad is, because I want him to be there for that person and to know that he loves them and all that.
Who's listed as father?
Nobody. I'm the only one on there.
But he has Mr. Watkins' last name.
He named him.
Here it is, the big moment.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Watkins, you are the father.
All right.